check in.
Well, you're not cutting off the fun. You're bringing the fun to everyone.
I was going to say, it's bold of you to assume we're cutting off the fun by starting the stream.
We must carefully ration the fun out.
No more fun allowed.
This will be no fun.
I do have a question for Ethan.
Oh, you've got a question for me.
Will there be roads?
Will there be roads?
Jeff,
yes,
like
there will.
pavement.
There will be so many roads. You're in Summerside now.
Okay, well that's really it. I just want to know if I take auto attack or the pavement generating one.
Oh, I do like the pavement shank one.
Well, with that, should we announce what's going on here?
Yeah. Welcome to the Sometimes stream summer campaign, starting after the autumnal equinox because we're magic-y and freaky like that. This is the Sometimes Streams summer campaign. Well, wonders never cease. We are going to be splitting today's streaming up into two different sections. The first one is we are going to be going around the room, so to speak, and talking a little bit about our all new, all different, all singing, all dancing, kind of the same, but kind of very different and creative new magic system for the Sometimes Kingdom, the RPG. And in the second half, we're going to leap right into Will Wonders Never Cease, the new campaign. I'm here today with all of these lovely people. You can, if you'd like to, introduce yourself, or we can simply leap into talking.
Why don't people introduce themselves when they talk?
It's even better.
Great. And Ethan, do you want to call on folks to do you want to set the scene or ask us to do a little like what is this character doing kind of a thing?
Yeah, let's go around. We're going to start. I don't know if we all have the same order in our video pane as each other, or if it's different like in Zoom. Who knows?
It's probably
Erica, me, Ethan, Jeff.
Yeah, great. We do. That's great.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. So let's start on the upper left-hand corner and go clockwise. White, aka DCI Beans, the skunk naturalist investigator.
Right. I guess it depends where we are. Are we in Summerside presently, or are we like back home in our own personal houses?
You are in Summerside presently, and that's all I can say about the current moment. But you can talk about, I guess, if you want to catch people up on what you've done since defeating the Beast Orb Club back in Springside.
Right. Well, I guess you see a montage of all of us traveling in Christine, and you also see sort of separate montages of Beans going to bookshops and libraries, researching animal curses and witches, and also just maybe like arguing with Bessemer over noodles. And then sometimes just in a field, like you don't see Beans and you're just looking outside, and then Beans pops up because he's just a skunk doing skunk things. And I think Beans feels that everything has changed and somehow nothing has changed. And I, the player, mean that in terms of the rules that we've updated from Quick Start 1 to Quick Start 2 in between the last season and this season. But Beans means it in terms of getting older and feeling like, boy, I'm approaching retirement. I'll probably never be in charge of a whole, metropole division of coppers arresting bad wizards for bad wizard crimes, etc. And also feeling like an aging animal who wants to spend more and more time in his burrow. But also maybe the two are not that different, and so actually not that much changes season to season, because boiling a frog rather than whacking it on the head, etc., etc. So I think it ends with wherever we're going, I'm sitting there with a tiny body plan appropriate, like instant ramen cup noodle thing, but sort of early modern or medieval in design a little bit, and slurping them up. That's Beans' new thing, is he's just really into noodle dishes.
It's just really into noodles, just loves them. Erica, what is Bessemer never seen up to, or has been up to?
It's tangentially related because of the arguments that we've been having. So I've been, what Bessemer is doing is contemplating the recent shifts in how she's been feeling and experiencing the world, how she's feeling more creatively connected to the magic that she learned through her various trainings, and very excited to just go and discover more. And she's been investing in like, paving those neural pathways and allowing for the beckoning of what's to come by learning how to make noodles from scratch. And so she is currently making some form of probably an egg noodle. It's very damp. We're working in the flour, and hers, though not instant, will also be enjoyed very soon. And she's really taking in the labor of love and imbuing the food that she's about to consume with her intention as she experiences the creation of it, and then goes to deliver some to Beans and have him compare them to his instant noodles so that she can be right eventually.
I like that. It's very much noodle craft to soul craft.
Yes, that's exactly where she's at. But it's, it's a labor of love. She doesn't want Beans to be wrong because she wants him to be wrong. She wants Beans to be wrong so that he can taste better noodles,
Yeah, but you get those instant cup ones. They're just so good,
I mean, she's wrong. They're delicious, but she thinks I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Fasole, the Demon Knight, played by our stalwart Ben.
Hello. So you sort of see you see Christine stop outside of a post office, because Fasole remembered that, on his character sheet all this time was that he was a member of the House of Rags and Bones, but he just remembered that means he gets a lot of free newspaper subscriptions. And so he is taking a trip to the post office where he's going to go empty his P.O. box of presumably a really catastrophic number of unread newspapers. He gets ushered into the room of PO boxes. Realizing that the ceiling's a little short, he takes his helmet off for the first time, and you see a long flowing mane of slightly darker red hair. He is a cherry red demon with horns, and unprotected. In his head area, the male clerk, who is a giant gibbon with a club, conks him over the head really hard, and he forgets how to do all of the magic that he learned, except for 5 words, which are stalwart, thermal, compartment, summit, and ruby. None of those were in any of the spells he knew before. They just are the words he remembers. And he says, "Ouch!" and puts his helmet back on. "Well, I feel all better now." As he takes a armful, and by armful I mean it is reaching
just
all
like
the way
a
to
truly massive
of newspapers. Yeah,
you've got some reading ahead of you. Periodicals are delightful.
A lot of reading, and these are like years out of date.
So we have Jeff next, and what has Hirsute been doing, and what is he doing?
He's at the store, and he bought chainmail.
Nice.
Looking at the things, nothing actually changed.
Hirsute is a seamless continuity from one season to the next. Truly a skeleton for all seasons.
Yeah.
What color is the chainmail?
Oh, I think it's like bronzy,
like
burnished bronze.
A real,
I guess they call
it like a warm tone that really, yeah,
but like not shiny. It's important that it's not shiny at all.
It's got to be lustrous. It's got to be deep, dark. It's got to be moody.
Lustrous.
You're saying it's matte?
Yeah, it's matte.
Matte. It is a it is a matte, a warm matte metal, perfect for sneaking and looking intimidating.
And then he like walks over to something else, and he's like, "Oh." He's looking at something that he doesn't understand what it is, but the audience can see that it's a carbon fiber like hood replacement. And he's like looking at it, he's like, why do I feel drawn to this? I don't understand what this is for or why. He's just looking at it.
A bit like a bizarre Technics item just in a shop. Looking
he's just
mysterious
like staring
and
at
strange.
the carbon fiber hood replacement. He's like, yeah, that's it.
I love it. Cool. I guess before we jump into the narrative proper, I wanted to go around, or if anybody had any sort of thoughts about the kind of like narrative structure or character generating structure, or just like some of the rule changes in general, what your feelings have been on that, and where you sort of see it going, especially for spellcraft, when you can now forge spells based on words that you can find in the seasonal table of magic.
Well, I'll say I feel about 3% stronger than I should because the calculation for my starting health and grit got a little more in my favor.
So you say that it's like a nurse rushes in, like, doctor, he's hallucinating again after the head wound. He's speaking in meta again. Please get him get him a package of lava stat.
Should we say, Ethan, anything mechanically for listeners who may have heard the first one, or should we just sort of introduce it as we go? I guess that's another approach.
Sure.
To sort of learn my play.
We can talk. I think we should just talk a little bit about it, and then we can sort of talk about it as we go.
I mean, what I said sort of storified what happened, which is we deleted all the
fantastic
spells with like descriptions, and now spells all just have word. They're you get one word. Or, you get a bunch of words. I got 5 words, and I'm level 4.
This is
I got really, 10 words, booch.
That's so many words. It's a
word.
That's just too many words. That's a ton. Too many words. It's like, oops, all words.
Wait, Jeff, what were we saying?
I guess I technically have words, but I can't use them at the moment.
Oh, right. You still are figuring out if you're.
You can always pull that trigger and make the dark
will.
Plunge into skeleton magic.
Because before skeletons couldn't do magic, and now they're allowed to, but discouraged from.
They're allowed to, but discouraged, and it's delimited to the Table of Winter. For a lot of the language that's used for why certain classes or species can use it is less sort of like, oh, that's something inherent to them. It is more about like the way historically or culturally these things have evolved, which feels a little bit more grounded in like the past 1,000 years of Seasons Keep history. Because there's lots of things in our world that are totally nonsensical that feel like they are essential things.
Yeah, and I think maybe just for quick reference, if someone was just dipping in, also, it suffice to say the game used to work with what we might call point effect magic spells. So spells were like things with set effects. And before we dive back to the narrative for this season, we've changed up the rules a bit to try to make the game really feel free and creative in the way that I think, Ethan, your vision for this whole world is, that's sort of animistic, vitalistic, held together in every way by magic. So we've come up with a bunch of tables of words inspired by a game called Grimwild that has a smaller sort of set of words, but you use to craft spells. And there are other games, I think, that do this. We were just looking at ones that we thought were kind of successful. And we came up with 4 lists of a good number of words for each of the 4 seasons. And so the seasonal schools are different because they have literally different kinds of things in the lists. And you only really learn one as a kid. And that's how you sort of understand magic and understand like physics in a way, if I'm right, Ethan, right? It's like your world is conditioned by like these sort of words of power that allow you to sort of attune the world and control it. And if you learned something else, it would give you a very different like take. So currently characters have some number of words. If they're more fighty, they have more like 5 at 4th level. If they're more wizardy, they have more like 10. And there's some nouns and adjectives. And to make a spell, you choose one or more of them and burn a certain amount of grit. And then there's a table of ways to interpret that for the GM. And it's supposed to be player facing in the way that players can just come up with whatever crazy stuff they want. And it's up to the GM to figure that out. We are playtesting it really for the first time now. So let's see what happens. But I don't know if you want to add more. I just wanted to give a little sort of reminder of like the goal of this, which is for we, the players, we're just making stuff up. We're forging spells. And Ethan will tell us how's that going to work. I am also happy to help suggest things.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's perfect. I'm personally very excited about this change, partly as exactly like you said, making a world of magic feel magic-ier, and have it be where, like even down to the firmament, like things are altered. If you could use magic words, then having those magic words like really sort of affects all different aspects of life. Naturally, then like the system of magic that people should use should like reflect that. For a very long time, like the idea of the seasonal table of magic or the table of seasonal magic has been like, a part of the world, and it's very rewarding that like we now have that table. Like it literally is a table that is like fundamental to how the game works. And I think it also does a really interesting, fun, like a bit of like I guess like passive or ambient world building, because the words that are selected for each season are like they sort of operate within the same general categories of things as they were sort of like picked. But the kind of flavor of them and what they cover and what they describe like winds up being, because words are different than other words, like very, very different, and hopefully like a bit more of the vibe of each season in their school, their philosophy, and like their world is like reflected in those potential choices of words. So yeah, I think that's all we got so far. If we would like to continue onward with any other comments, or jump back into play. We're gonna dive back in, I guess. Then
I think we're gonna dive back in.
We're gonna dive back in into the deep end.
Dibbity dive.
Oh, actually, I did want to say one more thing.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay,
I
fine.
think it might be
Undive,
for the-
everybody. Just reverse, please.
Getting out of the
It might
pool.
be better off if like we only have 2 players messing around with the magic than all 3 of us, because it might get pretty messy.
Mess with it. Mess with it. Mess with it. Mess
Also,
with
I
it.
don't feel like it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's a
Also
good
don't have to.
point, Jeff, that you know, so this is something Bennett brought up in the chat before we started this week or last week is how long will it take, not for the characters to cast a spell, which is a standard action in the game, but for we the players to come up with ideas, and then Ethan and myself to like adjudicate, like, okay, you would need to spend X amount of grit to get Y effect. So my hope is it'll take a couple minutes at first and then maybe get even faster. But in reality, if it's like 30 minutes to cast one spell, then there goes a fourth of an episode. So to that
Right.
point, I guess we'll try at least a couple times and see
It's
how
true.
it goes. Right?
And I will say also, I am not averse to the idea of it taking up a chunk of episode, partly because it's our very first time sort of doing it. And I do feel like the adjudication process of one of like, GM and players like working together to find a way to win at game.
That is play.
Yeah. I feel like since it will become like a part of play to a certain extent, or at least kind of like a table relationship, like I am not opposed to it taking a little bit of time. Also, because it's going to be the first time that we're kicking these tires, so that's a little exciting. Also, so
Well,
when it
hopefully
comes up,
takes
it winds
time
up
for
taking
us, but less time for future players.
exactly
Because of how we learn how to craft these things. What?
Yes.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're right. I said that's what we hope. Learn at our expense.
Yeah.
Well, so with that, should we dive into the story and then do it in theory? This should work like in play. So you have an idea, you forge a spell, you coming up with it as a character is a flashback, and then when you're using it, like you've already done it before, right? It's like we can hear the time you learned the skill, but you already know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or possibly, maybe it is the first time you do it. If it seems that way, you tell us.
Cool
Player.
diegetic reasons for spontaneous magical application, which are then locked into that spell forevermore. All right. Yeah. So this is the island of Summerside here in Seasons Keep, where the seasons are places and the dead don't always die. There are, of course, the 4 islands of Seasons Keep, or as they're often called locally, the 4-ish Isles, because there are, truth be told, 4-ish Isles in number. One of the prime reasons they're called the 4-ish Isles and not the 4 Isles is the Greens. The Greens is a very large landmass occupied by Springside on the west and Summerside to the east and the northeast. They are called 4-ish in number because they technically overlap one another. Summerside, great, mighty, lush, verdant, and frightening Summerside, is westernmost tip, the great cliffs of Cantilever, the giant city, loom and half float over the easternmost edge of Springside. They are a bit dovetailed onto one another, with Summerside being the one upon high, looming over Spring. For many decades, the many people of Seasons Keep have been wary of the power and might of Summerside. However, Summerside is a very insular place and really actually doesn't give a fit or a fig about the rest of the Isles. While it still engages in politics and trade in the same ways that the other Isles seasons do with one another. Its methods of doing so are a bit more insular. Summerside has more of the traditional fantasy kingdoms than many of the other islands do. In fact, they have dozens and dozens of them. The petty kingdoms of summer, which occupy most of the central mass of Summerside's lush, verdant, and very, very highly varied summery landscapes. All of those small kingdoms, the petty kingdoms of summer, are constantly at threat of squabbles, battles, brawls, and sometimes outright war with one another. It is in this fracas that the questing network still has somehow managed to operate with some impunity and with some grace, despite the incredibly intricate and difficult politics of the same. These are all facts that any child in the Seasonal Isles would have learned growing up in primary school or from dock workers. It's not exactly it's not exactly difficult information. You know, people learn in different ways. You know, yeoman, what have you. But you know, so all of that is common knowledge that you'd be going into this. The one thing that you don't, however, know or recall at the moment is specifically how you got to Summerside and why you're there. Because at the very moment, Hirsute and Fasole are running across a large and floating bridge across a ravine towards a group of what would look to be hideously armed and very, very tall individuals.
Towards a group.
Towards a group. You're running there towards a group. Why you're doing so and how you got there is a complete mystery to you.
Well, I guess I'll roll initiative.
Brother, what are we doing again?
The two of you, please roll for initiative.
Oh.
That's a 3.
Not sure, honestly. I'll roll over. Oh, right. I guess I have to roll with dice because I can't type it in.
No.
Great. It's forced me to use dice. I got an 8.
I'm gonna get dice. Excitement.
No, there's still water here.
There's still water.
Yes, we're running over a bridge. There's water under us.
That's water under the bridge, sir.
And there's hideously armed people in front of us.
All right. So with another person of 13, which one of you will be going first?
We both got an 8?
No, I got a 3 and you got an 8.
Oh, okay. And you got a 13?
13.
I thought I heard Ethan say 13.
I did say 13.
Yeah, so you're first.
Oh yeah. What's the descending order? Games. A garden, dark green armor, lustrous and deep, with extremely oversized shoulder pads. I'm talking like 90s shoulder pads. Sort of walks towards you. He is wearing they're wearing a helmet which covers both of their eyes, with tiny pinpricks of his ear. Those tiny pinpricks are shaped like stars and leaves. And from inside, you hear a voice say, you know, "None shall pass this walk." And it's sort of cut off as he sort of sees both of you 100%, but green and armor.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like X-Force.
Oh.
Wait. These are the type of shoulder pads that we're referring to. Refer to 90s shoulder pads.
90s shoulder pads plus X. I like that,
Yeah,
but with
suit.
X-Force giant comic book shoulder pads on top of it.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Clearly defined.
Yes. Cup of tea? Bob's your uncle. Yes, from deep within inside this very thick armor, you hear a voice boom, "None shall pass who cross this bridge." And then they sort of cut off and are looking around extremely confused, and are looking ahead at the two of you, holding down a green halberd, and pulling it at the ready. Looking a little bit
Excuse me, very tall and hideously armed being with a very good color scheme that matches mine quite well. Do you know why we're here?
Yeah, he shouts back, have at thee. I am here because I am defending the bridge. as to why you are here, my extremely well adorned and stylishly armored friend as well.
Thank you.
I know not.
Well, you're about to fail.
Good, sir. I'd never fail at guarding. It is my job to guard this bridge.
I said what I said.
Well, I think may have been crossing the bridge. We mean the bridge, no harm.
Oh, the guard is now charging at the both of you with his halberd in hand.
Okay. Wait, is he gonna attack us or?
Oh, I suppose I should mention. I suppose I should mention that he is at least. This is a very long bridge, and he's about 20 yards away from you. So
okay.
Imagine the past scene has been done with 2 close-up shots to you.
We were yelling at each other,
and then he's charging forward, and you see that the bridge is very long. Yep.
Huh. All right. I guess is it my turn?
Get behind me.
I think I have a better idea. I'm gonna.
Pursuit, what would you do with this very lengthy and very strange and confusing?
Yeah, I'm gonna use a driver power. I'm just gonna use get out of dodge.
Excellent.
Oh, it has to use charisma. That's not.
You might want to start first.
What's your charm?
It's a D4.
Nice.
Hoisted by your character construction petard.
There's always boost.
Yeah,
always boost.
Yeah, okay.
And you're starting fresh as a grit daisy here.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't actually add anything, but that's fine. We could do that later. I'm actually not going to do that because I'm actually just going to use. I'm just going to wait for him to come.
So your turn is. Are you gonna shout Bon Mots or insults at him, or just stand there stoically waiting for him to charge forward?
I was like, brother, we could just like wait for him.
Yes, I'll wait in front of you to protect you.
Yeah, that's fine. We could just wait for that. We could just wait for him to get here, and then when he gets here, we could just go past him.
Yeah, Fasole waits.
All right.
We stop. Right. We stand.
you have sirs, you have planted yourself expertly here, but you are no match for me, the Green Guardian.
Hit me.
No, sir, you seem to be some sort of Red Guardian. I myself am the Green Guardian. Must be.
Yes, Green Guardian, hit me.
Yes. Yeah. So he. So we're gonna smash cut a couple of rounds until he gets to both of you. That's.
Yeah, we are waiting there, huh? I guess I'm gonna is there a railing on the bridge or is it?
There's no railing whatsoever. This is a very long there's a long bridge made out of a tan yellow stone. What? Say again?
Completely flat bridge.
Like Super Smash Brothers Melee?
Like we're talking Super Smash Brothers Melee. It is perfectly flat. Because the area from which you seem to have perhaps come doesn't seem to be connected to anything at all. In fact, the other half of it seems to be floating in the air. It is connected to a very large tan stoned building, hideously huge. In fact, it looks to be the ruins of some kind of ziggurat, awkwardly mashed together with some other kind of castle.
So he came out of this ziggurat, or from the direction of the ziggurat.
It's entirely possible. As to your directionality, it's anyone's guesses.
Okay, new plan.
The ziggurat's behind us.
We're just gonna shove him over, right?
It is. Let's see. So, at this point in time, we're just gonna skip ahead. Run. At this point, the Green
waiting 60
Knight,
seconds.
Yeah, the Green Knight pulls up in front of you. It's like, fell warriors, you have met me well here.
It's all right if you need a second.
On the cantilevering bridge, from whence you have found, I shall now stop your approach with a glancing blow. Yeah, he right
on the head.
Yeah, you just right on the head. Yeah, he hits you. He strikes you on the head. And you've got a D4, right?
I have a DR of 4. Yes.
You have a DR of 4. Yeah, there is zero way that he is going to do anything but clong that halberd, which is not magical in any way, shape, or form. It is simply a green-colored standard civilian halberd. Clongs off of your helmet, and there is a ringing sound, and it's not coming from you. It's coming from him, cartoonishly vibrating from the hit. He is momentarily stunned.
The only thing you've damaged is my hearing.
What?
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna shove him over the bridge.
How
would I do that? Am I strong enough? Actually,
you could try.
Okay. Is that combat?
I believe that would be combat roll.
Yeah, I'll boost it because I think this is the best way for
really
this
want
combat to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just boost it by 3.
Okay.
That is a 5 plus 3. 8.
A 5 plus 3, 8. Good sir. This stalwart knight who has called themselves the Green Guardian stands there at the ready as Hirsute, you stepped in and you simply with a bit of a weight and energy shift nudge him a bit over the edge and
well, he was like shaking. He was like trembling, right? Because of the
yeah. So you wait for the perfect precise moment as a needle. These sort of like movements are things that you always look out for. You find the perfect moment of vibration and simply just nudge him over, and you see him fall over the side. You hear an almost goofy like sound of like Yahoo! As he falls down, and then he clongs about 20 feet down onto some sort of invisible structure, and there he remains on the ground. He picks himself up, looking at you both, and he has received D4. Okay, he is looking a bit worse for the wear. His armor is definitely not D4. He stands up and looks at you, and he says, "Ah, yes. Well, you have met me, hail and hearty, fell warriors here at the House of Summers, floating gates of cantilever here on this walkway. I do have one question for you. I suppose it might be the concussion that I feel, but who are you and what are you doing here?"
Now we're good.
My brother said we're good, but it was very nice to meet you.
Well, Mets. I look forward to handsome parley with such a stalwart and stylish knight as yourself. As soon as I find my way through the invisible maze.
Yeah, you gotta remember, he might steal our names or something. I don't know.
It's a distinct possibility. Have you? You haven't said your names, right?
No.
No.
Wow. Very, very good. Now we are going to move ahead. To oh no, my screen just went away. What happened? There we go. Now
solved the bridge puzzle.
It's a wonderful B sequence which we're going over to the B plus as it currently stands. In a long dark. Oh no! In a long dark shaft, with a dim pool of light high above in the ceiling. With the sound of dripping moss. And a smell that is discernibly and unmistakably cavern-like. DCI beans and Bessemer and Eversing are facing a door made out of gorgeous ironwood that has been carved with 1,000 hours from 1,000 hands. It seems to have several bizarre locks on it and mysterious symbols. The floor is a bit damp as you sit there in the dark. Light with a tiny pool of light, tastefully shining a bit of a spotlight on the two of you as you are facing this door.
And I said to her, I don't know what I said to her. Wait, what was I saying?
Oh, well, I think I was going to tell you about this idea I had to finally combine the two greatest things I think I've discovered, which is funny enough, they're very human things, but I feel like I've discovered them more and more as I inhabit this stupid big cursed body. But cheese and noodles in the same dish, finally, at last. The forbidden barrier. This may require years of magical research, but I think that may not be what I've been saying. I feel like I also have a sudden a brain wind from the brain
Regardless,
ass.
yeah. I mean, regardless, I'm here to support you with the cheese noodles, and I don't want to move on from that too quickly without validating because we that's a place we need to go. But in order to go there, why are we here?
Oh, I was going to ask you. I assume that something about this stupid neural architecture of my little squirrel skunk. What am I? Skunk brain has momentarily, caused a brain wind.
Nope. You know as much as I do because, and I think I take this opportunity to pinch DCI beans.
Ow.
Okay, then that's real. Okay, so you felt that, so that's probably you felt that, right? Okay. Okay. So I offer little scritches in the favorite spot while I'm describing, and I think it might be right behind the jaw right here. While I'm describing, yeah. I only did that. I didn't want to hurt you, but I wanted to know if we were dreaming because that's the only time I ever don't know what I was doing before. But I also don't know what I was
Okay. Can we? This may be a stupid question, but just roll reason to remember, or
try it.
Great.
Go for it.
I got a knife, and so everything is a thing that is cut with a knife. D12. That's an 11. Natural 11.
Ooh.
A natural 11. Okay, let me see what I've got here. Is this my 10? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, the answer might be no, you don't remember. Fine, but had to try.
I did get a natural 10. So
bam.
We'll see what I remember. What do I remember?
No, so both of you, so your memories are you remember eating noodles in a car. You remember driving in Christine with your questing crew. On the easternmost Anchor Road past the Turney Fields after a lovely stay in Brocadia in the outermost Ether of Turnia, eating noodles and then making your way turning left and making through the arduous path through Overleaf, which is one of the only ways to get from Springside to Summerside. It is the slightly less floating part of the island that is pitched towards the Northern Sea. It's a very long and hazardous trip through floating islands, treetops, rope bridges, and then there is with that 11 and 10. Then there is sort of like a pitchy sort of vibrating, almost like somebody's hit you on your dome with a halberd, and there's a ringing sensation as the memories sort of go out of pitch and dark, and then there's a long sort of like not quite darkness, but like that reverberating sound of like wom 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 wom, like somebody's hit a gong, but the gong's going on for way too long. And then as the gong sort of resolves into like a normal tone, it brings you to this exact moment. For a fact that, however, with that 10 and 11, that you have lost 4 hours of memories.
Right.
Right about now.
So you're going to
I
cast
don't remember
a spell?
anything.
This is a magical thing, right? I think I'm remembering.
My head hurts, but I don't. So I think if I were to deduce based on memory, I think I was hit in the head, but really, that's hard to say. Okay. Well, okay. Beans, have you ever seen this door before?
I'm not sure, but I feel like no.
That's a good. I like how you're covering all of our bases there.
Would this be a time one of us, both of us being professional,
detective inspectors?
Yeah, detective wizards. Should we use some detective magics to get an answer definitively?
Yeah, or I mean, do we care about the answers as much as we care about not being in the bottom of this pit? Ethan, when I turn around, is there just dirt behind us, like in a vast wall up 30 feet? What's going on?
This pit is wide and circular. It's like an oubliette light because you can definitely see light coming from the top with that matted moss. There is water dripping in. It doesn't seem to be, to your perception, to be dangerous. However, there is also from from a much higher promontory of, I guess, like a tuft of moss and stone or what have you, a long rope ladder, a very long rope ladder, which seems to be attached to it somehow or nothing. Bessemer, this is your own rope ladder. This is the one that you inherited coming from the Floating Isles.
I need that. What the fuck?
Bessemer, I've detected something here using my unstoppable inductive reasoning. This is your own rope ladder. We have done this on purpose.
Oh my gosh, Beans, you're right. Okay, so here's how I feel about this. If I pull this down now, it won't be hanging from up there. But if we leave it here, then maybe, sorry, I think I was concussed. Maybe we can use it again to get out. Do you think we should go through this door first or just crawl up?
I think maybe one of us readies a spell that will take us somewhere else. Fuck this place. But also one of us readies a spell to kick down the door, waving some number of things that would rhyme. And then we will at least see whether it's dangerous, and already have a plan. If it is dangerous, we've already thought of this. We'll just leave.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. It's my rope ladder, and I'm real good with it. So if you can kick down the door,
Okay.
I can be ready to grab you and I'm not using the word scamper offensively. I just mean like climb up fast. But I've got something in my back pocket if there's a full issue. And that
Great.
is working. So we got three plans. Great. Excellent.
At least three plans. We probably had more plans, but we were hit on the head when we fell or something, or there were like green parasites.
And I'm still thinking about the noodles plus cheese together.
Right? It's like no one's had this thought ever before, or I have brain damage. But either way, it's like I'm blowing my mind.
At that moment, from behind the large and gorgeous hardwood door, you hear a tremendous booming clattering sound, like something smashing or breaking, or a possible explosion.
Okay, maybe the new plan is just look through the door without opening it, and then depending on what we see, we open it or just GTFO, as the younger skunks say.
Okay, great. How do you recommend we look through the door? Do you have an invisible door?
The same spell I was going to use, but I will not use my full force as a highly skilled, decorated wizard cop who only stops bad things from happening and ignores petty crimes and graffiti and this and that. But yes, I'll use the same spell.
Great idea. What is it?
This is literally, I think this is the first time we're doing it on air using the new magic system. I'm proposing to forge a spell. So I already know the spell, the character, but this is the first time we're seeing it. So we have to figure out how do we use it. Called Regression Stiletto. And Regression Stiletto is taking anything pokey or vaguely blade-like and sticking it on a thing. And when it touches that thing, it regresses back in time a bit to when it was like made. But in this case, I'm only trying to use the weakest sense to like just regress part of the door. So there's basically a hole that will heal soon, but just momentarily a hole in the door so we can see through it, hear through it. And then depending on what we see, whatever. I was going to use it to just like blow up the door, at least again, temporarily, and then we'll come back together later.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's fantastic. I think that
wait, before we do that, should we check if it's locked?
Oh, sure, fine. Ruin my fun.
So wait, first I reach out and check the handle before you use any grit. What happens when I don't go to open the door?
It's a really good thing that you check the handle because there isn't one.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool. I give a gentle push. What happens?
Here's the thing. I really, for humor's sake, really would want the door to be unlocked, but it is sadly, much to my regret, the door is locked.
Okay, all right. That's fine. So I just wanted to make sure.
No, I appreciate that, Eric. I think Beans would be annoyed at Bessemer momentarily, but I appreciate the thought. That would be much smarter. It's just like open the door, peek in. Great. So, shall I
Take your
use
broom
regression
closet.
stiletto at the smallest step of my magical abilities?
I am super duper here for it.
Yes.
Great.
For
So
for,
that
a, for, a, s- for a simple door, I think that should work.
so it'd be 6 grit because it's 3 grit per spell word to start before you boost it up any steps. So if I'm just doing
Excellent.
step 1, it's just 2 words, 3 grit each. It's a standard action. I don't have to roll anything. I describe the effect, and you would just have to tell me if the effect I describe is in fact step 1, or if I would have to boost it to get that effect. I assume it is step 1 because I'm just temporarily making a hole in the door by having it like grow back to just like different, pieces of like planks of
Yeah.
wood before they've been joined together or whatever. You would tell me if you disagree or whatever, and ultimately make a decision as the GM on like how the spell is going to work,
Awesome.
what it would cost. Does that sound right, Ethan? And do you agree that this is a fairly simple use?
I concur.
Okay.
That is a good use of it.
Cool. And then I guess we have to pick an effect a category. So this would be
That's right.
environs. We have 8, one of which is just catch-all. So there's like 7 specific ones, and then one called imminent, which is all other magic. But this seems to me to be environs. I don't think it matters, but just asking your opinion, Ethan, you agree this is an environs spell because it's transforming an object in near range.
And it's interesting because if you were like, oh, I'm going to try and like take apart the door mechanism, or I'm going to pick the lock or something, that would fall probably under technics.
Yeah.
But I think,
yeah.
but because you're doing it just to the door itself, it falls under environs. So I think that's the way to go with it.
I have a
Interesting.
question.
Yeah, I guess that would be an edge case. Is a door technical, or is it just like the wood of the door?
I'm going to make the case that a door itself is not by definition technical. The little gewgaws and stuff inside it that keeps it locked up would qualify as technical.
Got it. Interesting.
Question. So DCI Beans is making this spell regression stiletto that is now an environs spell and does what it does. If
Yes.
DCI Beans is in a new situation later on, and it occurs to them that regression stiletto would be great as a combat spell, would they be allowed to reuse that same combination of words with a new intention to have a new result, or no?
No.
No.
When you
Okay.
declare a spell, you declare the sort of general category that it's used
Great.
in. At some point, you could reforge the spell, but you could reforge it at the same thing, but you'd kind of have to start over again. You could use that for your reforging step.
When you make a spell in the Sunrise Kingdom, as currently written, you forge it, meaning you say how your character learned it a certain way, or is making it up on the fly in anime, unveiling their power, whatever. But that is the spell. It is a set spell with those words of magic in different order are totally different meanings in the world. However, there is one class power meta magic, which adjuncts have, so wizards have, which lets you gain basically abilities to change spells. And that would be like a whole separate thing where you'd have to basically burn through it to like undo it, and then you could make up a new spell with those same words in the same order. But hopefully the idea is you get so many words, because even like say a fighter would get a few words, and the combinations grow really quickly. So you can make a lot of spells, but they're all going to sound kind of weird because they're going to be putting together these kind of like fridge magnet words. So it's a little bit of a different vibe, but hopefully still has tons of. So this is a pretty simple use. We don't have to keep dwelling on it, but okay, I do the spell.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, and I guess to add to that also, if for instance, if that use case like happened, Bessemer was heart set on absolutely doing that in their downtime, either in between quests or taking a day or two, they could bring it to they could bring it to a books major, an adjunct who could then spend several days doing that switch for them. But then it would be just as much time switching it back again, and after a while it'd be like,
okay, so if you've got deep buyer's remorse, we've got you covered. But if it's
we got you covered, but narratively it will take some time.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I love it.
Alrighty.
I also like the idea of like someone using a spell called like Hell Maw, and it opens a maw to hell, and well, no one has the words to undo it in the party, and so you have to go find a books major, and you're like, hey, can we respect Hell Maw so it closes the Hell Maw?
So it's Hell Nah, right? Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then Buffy's canceled early, and everyone's sad, and then we have to go reopen it again.
So
yeah.
I think that is there should be, and there may be more constraints on higher step magic, or maybe certain words or like verboten or whatever. But right now, we're just
It's
experimenting
baked.
with the basic list.
You've
that we
baked
can.
that spell.
So Ethan, I open the door. What happens? What do we see? Assuming it works.
Yeah, so you, presumably at Skunk Height, want to open a portion of this door. The door, like, first all the shellac, goes back to being beetle shells on it. Pieces of it start scraping away. It becomes planks. In the air, you hear the scraping of what are they called? The wood planes in reverse. As it starts to de-sawdust, and then a portion of it starts turning into bark and deciduous tree, and it is gone. There is a portal, and on the other side of it, you see a very, very tall man. In fact, you see a giant talking with several other giants, and they seem to be engaging in some kind of grappling. And as they are grappling, pieces of extremely expensive looking old furniture are being thrown about by their grapple, and the sound that you've been hearing is furniture basically exploding against the wall.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're gonna go back right now to our original combat team. Let's see. So Fasole in her suit. At this point in time, you are alone on a bridge, one part of which seems to float, and the other part of which is connected to a ziggurat. Ziggurat Castle medley, let's call it.
And sorry, we were coming from the ziggurat, or we were going towards the ziggurat?
You were running towards the ziggurat when you first came to.
I think we've reached the ziggurat, right? We were continuing.
You were continuing forward. Yeah. As you walk forward, there is a large sort of a walkway, immensely tall, 20, 30 feet tall. All around you is just some of the most handsome stonework you ever did see. Don't tell them back at home, but putting even some of the really amazing, a sky scraper stuff in night to shame. Just beautiful ornaments. Some slightly enchanted, so it looks like vines and trees are shaking in the wind, even though they're stone. With these beautiful tops for this. And somebody has designed all of this to impress.
Novo Rich, am I right, brother?
That's right. We should tell the library about this.
To your left and right are great stone columns. They are at least 20 feet tall. At this point, some of them are holding up this great archway of this walkway, and some of them are holding up nothing. Before you is a sort of an open format leading into a great chamber beyond. As you say that, Fasole, the words echo in this great hallway.
Library.
Is there a torch?
Say again?
Wait, what time of day is it again?
Oh, yeah. From the looks of it, it looks to be either sunrise or sunset.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to wait about 30 minutes, and we'll learn which one.
I'm gonna throw a knife.
All right.
Forward.
In what direction? Just in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. You fling that knife in front of you, expertly flinging it with your bony hands. It whizzes several meters, and then it clanks against an invisible surface.
Okay. Like unknown to me.
Unknown to you. Well, now you know, because your knife just before it hits the wall, before it hits a wall at all.
Right.
It hit something, and that something wasn't visible.
Okay. So we don't want to get caught. Maybe there's like an invisible cage. You want to get like a vantage point? You want to go up?
Yes, let's go up. The Green Knight, played by Dev Patel, said earlier.
That wasn't. It was someone Egerton. It's a jag.
I fucking love him.
It wasn't a very good movie. I know that I'm alone in that opinion.
You very much are. Moving on.
The Green Knight.
The Green Knight said that there was a maze and it was invisible. So let's not get caught in the invisible maze.
Yeah, let's just like go outside the ziggurat and climb it.
Rad.
At least that's what I'm suggesting.
It is triangular.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you look up past this vast hallway, you do see that while imposing, it's stepped like a ziggurat, or somebody has rebuilt a portion of a ziggurat. It is a bit of a climb. It is not, doesn't seem to be terribly arduous.
Yeah, let's just like take it easy, you know.
Just take it easy. Winter
For
style.
those of us who would have to Google what a ziggurat is.
A ziggurat is an almost pyramidal. A ziggurat is an almost pyramidal structure, typically used in ancient Sumeria and Babylon as a large city-state temple area, which could be used for many different functions.
You're the
Many
fucking
different
best.
functions.
This has been Definitions with Ethan.
Yeah, we're gonna be including a glossary with this game.
I
There's
love
so many
it.
vocabulary
I was gonna
words.
Google it, and then I was like, maybe if I, a player with a vast vocabulary, don't know what a ziggurat is, maybe other people might need to know.
It is great and ancient and imposing.
We love it.
Stepped and structured with beautiful carvings all over it. Yeah, so
we're getting our dirty boots all over that shit.
You're definitely getting your dirty boots all over it. As you make your way climbing up the top, you are starting to climb up this bits of stone sort of move away from your feet as you walk. As you're moving along it, you actually see that parts of the roof are very different from one another. Some are this big, grand, ancient-looking stone, and some of them seem to be carefully mortared brickwork put into different areas. Other parts of it seem to be made out of an imposing dark green like metal. And some of them, it turns out, seem to be very nice ornamental skylights looking down into different antechambers.
Oh, I kind of want to look in one.
Okay. You gaze down through the glass of this weird skylight on this very weird ziggurat-esque building. You look down, and about 20 feet below you is a hallway. And that hallway has a carpet, and you see a whole bunch of people in armor, most likely mercs of some sort. A couple of them not in armor, some of them in mail. One guy just in some kind of barbarian outfit. All running down the hallway as fast as they can, holding clubs and spears as they run down that hallway. It takes a while for all of them to disappear. There seems to be dozens of them.
Brother, did you see that guy didn't have a shirt?
Don't get too excited.
He could get hurt so easily.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's why we're not going through. We're going through the outside. I think this is.
Do you climb back down the ziggurat?
Which one of these skylights are we going to crash through?
I would say let's try like the highest one. That's probably it, right?
The highest one, yes, good.
Right, like the tallest. Like we just go to the center at the top, and then we skip to the end. I assume.
Are you?
Fall all the way down to the bottom of the ziggurat?
You'll be fine.
Says the man with no muscles.
Are you searching for the? Are you now on a ziggurat a skylight hunt? Are you looking for the largest, grandest, or most openest one to like do, or what's going on here?
Either that or just walking towards the peak. I know you said it was incredibly large.
Yes, very large.
This might take us like the better, let's say 12 hours.
No, don't low bud. It's going to take us 48 hours to get to the top of the ziggurat.
Yeah, okay.
Well, at least you've got your marching orders to yourself.
This is a 6
Yeah.
mile high ziggurat, right?
Yeah, it's immense. It's unbelievably huge. As
this
you
is way less than
just it
48
defies
hours.
reason. As you
Defies reason.
as you set out to summit between 12 and 48 hours to get to the top of this immense structure, about 60 feet to the west of you, you hear a muffled sort of like burst of action, possibly some kind of explosion.
Damn, that's crazy though. It's really not my problem. I don't. Fasole, you want to look at that plot hook?
Looking around.
Do you want to? Are you really hell bent on getting to the very top of the cigarette?
The air smells of burned plot.
Yeah.
I mean, I am, but like, I don't know. Do you want
You
to
can
check
do whatever
it
you
out,
want.
or-
Do it.
As he said with gritted teeth,
This
this
force of
open
this
world.
explosion. Like what? Like where's the boom at? There was supposed to be an earth shattering kaboom.
Yeah, if you're gonna drop down, yeah. Oh, you're looking for climbing halts, yeah.
No, like how far away is the boom? For real.
About 60 feet.
Okay, I guess I'll look at it.
Let's go, Rubberneck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Maybe someone needs help, or I don't know, whatever the fuck you're bound to do, or something. I don't know. It's your
Maybe the
oath.
guy without a shirt finally got stabbed and blew up.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Is that
I
how
don't
that
know,
works?
if this architecture interests you, by all means, definitely continue that summit.
No, I mean it's only 60 feet. I'll just walk 60 feet. It's fine.
So you sort of at a leisurely pace walk over.
I feel like her suit is like, I guess it's only 60 feet and I can walk it. I just want to throw that in there.
time.
It's just 5 turns. It's fine.
Yeah. As you're walking over, you're walking past various gargoyles. Beautiful things. Some of them seem jarringly out of place. Some of them seem like they have literally just been plastered or glued onto it. Some of them seem to be thousands of years old. Yeah, you make your way 60 feet over to a yet another skylight.
Why would a ziggurat have a gargoyle? I don't think
It's a
they
very-
need that for drainage.
That's a very interesting question, Fasole. Is that something that you'd like to roll reason on?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would love to roll reason on that. And I got a 1.
It's just increasingly eating at Fasole, a man of style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are they gargoyles, or are they what's the other word for it when they're not water spouts?
Schmargoyles?
Right, gargoyles only water spouts.
It's like monstrosities or something.
Grotesques?
Thank you, grotesques.
Took me a second. Had to Google mentally.
But anyway, I got a 1, so I don't know anything about this.
Yeah,
A gargoyle is kind of grotesque. Just saying.
Okay.
You
And
probably
grotesque
can't
is
tell
a
the
kind of
difference,
new thing.
honestly, with rolling a 1.
Yeah, with a 1, you look around and you see, there's some really, it's all just one and the same. We're all one. You're part of the ziggurat too, and so is her suit. Cursing and making his way over towards a window into the plot. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's embarrassing too because Fasole is a carpenter.
Well, yeah, but you're not a stonemason, so let's
You're
be
not
real
a
here. It's
sculptor,
fine. This is if it was wood, I feel like it would be different.
You're not an exterior designer. Like it's fine.
That's a
Totally
good
different
point.
fields.
He's not an artist.
I think you're still an artist. I mean, like, don't sell yourself short, brother.
A lot of people bemoan architecture.
As Fasole says, a lot of people bemoan architecture. Her suit has made its way to this beautiful circular skylight. It is much larger than the atriums and seems to be inset into a flat part. You are at another ziggurat step. If looking down into that skylight, you see a grand and handsome room. And you see a bunch of guys seem to be like grappling with each other really violently.
Do I see signs of an explosion?
You don't see any signs of an explosion. You do see signs of upon closer inspection, trashed furniture. But it seems pretty obvious that furniture being trashed is coming from those guys.
Oh, it's just some guys fighting. All right, we're gonna keep going up. I really don't know what you thought.
Did you say that out loud?
I think as Hirsut's saying that, his Fasole is knocking on the skylight and says, "Everyone
just
good
wanging
down
it?
there."
As you do so, spider cracks are appearing in what is very clearly like ancient and terrible glass. Yeah.
Fasole's also standing on the glass.
You're standing on the glass too. I should have known. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So now we go back to DCI Beans and Bessemer. You are now staring through this portal at these grappling giants. What do you do?
Wait, they don't see us though, right?
They do not see you. They did not notice it at all. They seem to be in some sort of intense argument.
Did you hear? I thought I just heard Fasole.
What? Who? No, I'm joking. I remember Fasole, of course.
Does Bessemer have like a momentary panic attack that the amnesia is? Yeah.
Just remind me, just briefly, like in a montage fashion of whoever this person is and my deep friendship with them. And
big demon angel. Good vibes.
Right, that sounds like a thing. Okay, so should we just GTFO? Or did you want to talk to these gigantic crashing persons?
If we go in there, our probability of receiving stompage is high.
Right, agree.
And I'm feeling more and more inclined to acknowledge the presence of this door, but use the fuck out of my rope ladder to get out of here. Let's go.
Right. We could even go up and then just shout down and say, like, hey, we just showed up. We definitely didn't look at you, gigantic people. We don't know how your size at all. We're just guessing.
I think specifically if we tell them that we didn't look at them, they'll believe us the most. I was being sarcastic. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be mean like that.
No, that's fine. Okay, so let's leave. Yes, let's leave.
Okay,
and yes,
fine.
if our friend, who we obviously both remember equally well, is nearby, then we'll find them not there, or you think, or there. I guess just to clarify before we leave.
Well, let's find out. Why don't you crawl up on my shoulder, and while I'm climbing us out of here, even though you could probably climb out faster, why don't you tell me more about what you do and don't remember, possibly about our friend Fasole? Because I remember some things, and if you remember some things, that would be good. But if you don't, I should know? Question mark.
Sure, like we just had one too many tipples of sour fermented honey, and we forgot like a funny joke, but not like a whole lifetime of experiences with someone, you know, that we bonded with in the last couple of years as a brother in arms. Oh, I got a 7 on a reason check, so I think my memory's coming back to me. I think I do remember everything up to, you know, a couple hours ago.
Okay.
I crawl on your shoulders and am unconsciously giving you like an animal massage, like the way that cats, if they're like stuck to you, they just like kind of are like.
Yes.
I
appreciate that. I think that is something that only probably has happened because we have fought alongside so many times, and I definitely receive it as like a platonic and encouraging little touch.
Yeah. And Beans is just unconsciously doing an animal thing and is not even thinking about this. Is definitely thinking about doing like a mind palace Sherlock Holmes thing about like giants. Fasole, okay, memories coming back, like shit talk.
And this is your like unacknowledged stim is you're just like boop, 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 boop. Yep, I will receive.
So do you want to take us away and we'll just keep eyes out for Fasole and then possibly yell down? I love this plan.
Yeah, I love it. So we go ahead and we climb up, or I climb up and you mind palace. And Ethan, does anything particular or alarming happen during this?
No, it's a pretty uneventful. You know, if it were any other kind of rope ladder, it would probably be hazardous in this sort of damp and gross terrain. But it is your beloved rope ladder, which you've had from the Floating Isles since childhood. And so you know every little knothole on it as you climb up quite swiftly and briskly. You see at the top that it is not floating next to nowhere. It is attached to the top of this sort of like rocky, bossy, wet outcropping two little hook holds that seem to be made specifically for this purpose.
Oh.
As you've gotten closer, you've also misjudged the distance of the oubliette top hole. It in fact was just a very small hole and is much closer to than you think. Above it there is above you, right by this promontory, there is an ornamental iron wrought a ladder of sorts. It looks pretty crappy, but it goes directly up past all of this other crud and dirt in this weird hole. Up towards the light, which it seems is not very far away at all.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Excellent. Let's hey Beans, do you want to keep this up? And I'll just keep going up. I'm gonna take this.
Yeah.
If
you're
I'm just
comfortable,
gonna take this
I'm
rope ladder
comfortable.
in case something catastrophic happens. I can hopefully grappling hook us out of the situation. We'll see if that works.
Grappling.
Okay, so we keep climbing.
All right, you're climbing and you're climbing and you're climbing.
And we're loving it. Feeling the burn.
And it's getting brighter and brighter, dimmer, dimmer, and you pop out of your head. Yeah, as you pop your head out, with DCI Beans, right behind you. Yeah, it's not 20 feet in front of you is the backside of her suit, who is inspecting what looks to be a some kind of like treasure chest, which has been right to the side of something. As Fasole is jumping up and down, up and down, up and down on this glass skylight.
Beans.
What?
I have an idea.
I was napping.
Oh, sorry.
How long was I out for?
I don't know. I was just climbing. Do you want to go surprise Fasole? Do you want to go startle Fasole?
Yes, of course. I remember who Fasole is. Stop implying I don't know Fasole. I leap mid-sentence at Fasole, which is like there's a wild animal flying at you.
Just like,
We didn't have to talk about that anymore. Okay.
Her suit, right by the skylight, which you have ignored to continue walking. You have found an old-looking treasure chest. I feel like exploring terrain should always be involved. Like, should be rewarded with small amounts of treasure because this is, obviously, you've found this in high roll. You've seen it. It's got a glowing thing. You've found the key already.
Don't trust this treasure chest.
As you're saying, as you don't trust this as you're inspecting it, and you can roll however you'd like to inspect it. You hear above your head like a sort of wah! As DCI Beans has launched himself full hard off of Vestiver's things over your head towards Fasole, who is still stomping with all of his heart onto this
Definitely back turned to Beans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
I guess I slowly turn.
Her suit, you slowly turn.
I say, hey, can you stop jumping up and down? You're gonna fall.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't do that again. I think we fell and lost our memories temporarily. I assume you all still have yours.
With all of you up there, there is now a stone piece moves out of the way slightly higher up the ziggurat. It slides out of the way in classic ancient trapdoor tropey fashion. And out of this hole suddenly comes several knights in armor, several people in mail without armor holding spears and clubs, and one guy with no shirt on, just like some kind of like barbarian guy. He's got leather straps and stuff, look long hair, like kind of looks like he's really into all of this stuff.
Is he hot?
And hot, he's hot. Yeah, well,
No, I said hot. I'm laughing at him.
hot.
We're not
And
wearing
I
armor.
asked, is he hot? Just wanted to know.
Hot. Yeah. Are you belittling him without armor? He looks at you and he goes, "Aw." You
And I assumedly fall through this skylight.
yes, at this exact moment that all of this is happening. Could you roll me? Would this be like? Is falling a move check?
Yes.
Yes.
That's my D4, so that would be
Oh,
sense.
Beretta, you're falling from a very great
I
height.
feel like that's a land check.
Yeah, I got a 1 on that one, so
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
it makes sense that I'm falling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So at that moment, this ancient skylight cracks, and in just sort of you'd think that it would be bring the whole thing down in a great cataclysmic shattering of ancient glass. But it is once again slightly facile shaped, except like from the bottom up, as you fall solidly right through it.
There are horn marks, though. You can see the horns.
Yeah, yes, you can see like the little prongs of the horns as you're falling. This is actually really, you're falling from about, it turns out, like 30 feet. Do you do anything in the air as you're falling? Are there any thoughts that are going through your head?
Oops.
Yeah. Back up at top, there's a group of about 20 people, most of them armed, who are now looking all of the rest of you on there, saying, from behind it, the person known as the Green Guardian, comes out with dinged up armor and says, "Yes, I see. Yes, there they are. Ha ha! I told you I could find you once I navigated the invisible maze."
Oh wow, this one is extra. Hello.
I would like to approach the hole and throw one end of my fucking rope ladder down so that Fasole can presumably, and hopefully not followed by any giants, but I can't control anything, come back out as soon as they land.
Yeah. Are you diving down after him with your magic rope ladder, or are you? Yeah, you're just
no. I am making sure that the rope ladder is secured to whatever the glass was affixed to, like whatever was holding the panes in, so that Fasole could actually has a chance of climbing back out. Because I've learned from my rash behavior in the past.
That's fair enough. So your rope ladder is magically unfurling itself at the same speed that he is falling. However, it is numerous feet above him, and is so not going to reach him in time. As he is falling,
he's reaching for it.
Yeah. Hirsute, you've turned around and said that as these guards. Is there anything that you do with this, with having being rejoined with your party and seeing the dozens of armed guards all approaching from slightly up on the ziggurat? Oh, Hirsute, you're also muted.
I open the chest, of course.
Of course. Inside the chest is a bunch of rotting leather armor. A bunch of moths come out, and there is a what is color? It is a brass cube. A brass cube is in there. It looks to be about the size of a baseball. If you knew what a baseball was, it's smaller than a skull, which presumably is your usual metric for measuring things.
They come in so many different sizes.
I suppose that's true. I was being.
Unless there's like a one standard skull that they measure everything.
There's just skull. It's like in a game, it's like, oh, they collect bone. What is bone? It's bone. What kind of chicken? But doesn't matter. It's bone. It's skull sized.
It's a
security. Or like the meter. The meter was like a physical object that was one length that people could measure against. So there's probably like one dude's skull at midnight.
One skull.
Yeah, it's Yorick.
Like measure it.
It's your skull.
Yorick's skull. Yorick's skull.
Yeah. So it's about three quarters of a Yorick.
Yorick was like 40, wasn't he?
Does that determine the size of his skull? Maybe he was
large.
I was saying,
this cube is smaller than a bread box.
No, I'm just saying he's like a 40-year-old Danish man, right? So how big can his skull really be?
Well, people were very malnourished back then. I don't know.
It's true.
Right, because that was
he did work in the court, so he was fed. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I throw the leather clothes at the guards.
Mm-hmm.
I pocket the cube. I put the cube in the rib cage, and I throw the other stuff. Actually, if I can lift the chest and just throw it at the people coming up.
Perfect. Yes, you can. It is not a heavy chest. It is old and wooden. It's probably one of the olden wooden objects on this entire fracas.
Yeah, like I'm trying to like bowling ball them, kind of, because they're coming up. And it's like I'm throwing a thing down the stairs, and what are you gonna do? Jump? I mean,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I would like you to. So they are lined up things. I would like you to roll for combat for trying to knock these people out of the way, or at least temporarily disable them with the rolling of a
an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Green Guardian in the front has.
How does Dev do?
I just want to point out he wasn't the Green Knight in that movie. He's Gawain.
I was just thinking of him as an actor and other things. I wasn't.
He was the
even
Gawain
thinking
Knight. It's totally different.
The Gawain.
That's an old English joke that we just totally forgot. It's like the joke is that it's the Green Knight and the Green Knight.
Yeah, maybe.
Reproducing medievalism every turn. You roll this. You said you got an 8 on it. Yeah, you're bowling for guards. They do not make the cartoon bowling sound as they all launch out of the way, but it definitely breaks against his kneecaps, and he is down on his knees. A couple of the other guards behind him start tripping over him. The ones even farther back are all now leaping over the sides towards you all, like real guards style. You've disabled 3 of them. Meanwhile, Fasole, as you are falling, a strange thing happens. You feel a wave of nausea and hear sort of a booming whooshing sound, like a car moving by you. And now you know what a car is. Like by a car moving by you, like you just missed it. At like 60 miles per hour. As you feel yourself,
Christine, we talked about this.
You then feel yourself in this sort of dizzying moment, being kind of held by 2 very large hands, as you are suddenly being held off of the ground by a giant. You have been somehow plucked out of the air from where you were falling 30 feet up, and now you are on the floor of this great antechamber of destroyed furniture, being held aloft by a giant.
Hello, and then the rope ladder hits me in the face.
Yes.
Bessemer and DCI Beads, what are you doing up on top?
Fuck.
Bessemer is deeply confused by what's
I'm
going
like,
on.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've got bowling, and now I can see Fasole was hit in the face with the rope ladder, but I'm like, I can't pull it up yet because he hasn't used it. And I'm a little concernicus. What's going on with the people advancing right now? There's one on their knees.
One of them has been bowled over literally by a breaking rotten wood treasure chest. In doing so, several of the guards behind him have sort of tripped over him.
Nice.
A bunch of the other ones are trying now to leap over the sort of horizontal landing of that step to jump over the situation. It's not going great for them, but they are descending upon your position.
Stanley?
At first he was like, oh, after Fasole, made fun of him for not having armor, then had sort of a snickering moment as Fasole fell through the walk. Was like, yeah, that's what you get. And then looks back over at the bowling and goes, oh no, oh, and then sees the rest of them all jumping over, being like, huh. It seems like he's like some kind of hype man. Like you're not really sure what his job is. He seems to just be commenting on things that are happening.
Oh, he's a courtier.
Emotionally.
So what? I go, DCI Beans, what is he? Is he like a hype man? I don't really know what his job is. He seems like he's just kind of like a courier. Like, what is he?
I search in my mind palace, but I got a 4, so I'm not sure what a hype man is. I think I'm still a little rattled, and also thinking in skunks and like smelling a lot. Are these? Ethan, I mean, can I roll not for the hype man, but more seriously, I'd like to roll detective skills to know what the fuck is going on? Like, who are these people? And are they also, because I don't know why we're here. So I think the question is, can I figure out, like, are we both Tomb Raiders, or like, do they live here and we're in the wrong, or is it not one of those 2 very
or are we all Lara
Croft?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All Lara Crofts all the way down.
All Lara Crofts all the time. That's
all the way down.
That's happening. Yeah.
I got a natural 1, so I'm glad I didn't. Not that I would have spent grit on that, but I got a natural 1.
I think with that natural 1, you're kind of convinced that you guys are Tomb Raiders of some kind. You feel like, oh shit, like you've been like something has happened, and you've been like you're convinced now that like this is really bad. Like you should not be here. This is
Okay, guys, look, this has been fun and all with falling, hitting our heads and such. We're talking about cheese noodles, but we should really get out of here and start a business about selling cheese noodles. We should not be here raiding the tombs. There's probably ghosts. Nobody likes a ghost. Sorry if you have cousins who are ghosts. I don't know, but I just
mean,
like step back. I mean, the way
We've
that
met
animals step
several
back when all-
ghosts so far. It's not like they're just people, man.
all those interseasonal
okay,
island
we'll-
prejudices coming out.
Yeah,
Have this
they're-
conversation later.
Also, I found a cube.
Oh, hey,
I'm gonna. Oh, I'll take the rope, and I'm just
Pastor.
gonna give the cube to Bessemer to see if she can figure it out.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So I am at this moment just to gain some semblance of control over what's going on.
Yeah.
How many individuals came out of this?
About so yeah, I guess about you Hirsute knocked over at this point effectively 3 of them. There's about 17 left.
Was one of them knocked over the hype man?
One of them, no, the hype man was not knocked over. He's
Okay,
still
so he does
kicking.
not have a torso
Yeah,
full
he's
of
he's still
yeah.
there. Go after the hype man.
So
He's soft.
Okay. I am going to I'm
you're
gonna
muted?
go for it. I'm muted?
Am I muted?
No.
Oh no,
Uh,
I just lost sound.
Erica's
I
not
can hear
muted.
all of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well
never happened before.
then, this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna cast a step. Oh, Ethan's got it. Can't even say what I'm gonna do.
All
I'm
of
gonna
them
cast a
are
step
dead.
force spell.
I think Ethan just had audio issues. You can say what you're going to do, but you'll have to
Okay.
re-say it mechanically. Oh, I'm adding Ethan back. Let's see. Ethan, can you
Do
hear us?
it. Okay. Can you hear us now?
I don't think Ethan can hear us necessarily. So
Testing. Can you hear me?
we'll
Yeah,
have
can you hear
to
me?
here, I will text Ethan. In the
No,
meantime, we
Ethan
can,
is
doing.
We're having
entertain
magical
people
techniques
some other way.
difficulties.
I'm gonna take my headphones off, see if that changes it.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Oh no. Well, now I have time to change my action.
Can you all say entertaining things? We'll just cut this portion from the podcast.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
or we could say entertaining things like how I befriended a murder of crows out in my front yard recently, and it's one of my new favorite things.
Like in real life.
Yeah, there's a murder of crows
Yeah.
who comes by, and
Ethan.
Kirsten and I are
Hello.
Hello.
Can you
That
hear
was
us?
yeah, my headphones
Great.
were perfectly charged and in sync, and they just stopped receiving audio completely. So that's upsetting.
Cute.
Bluetooth
Yeah.
headphones just don't work. I've said it once. I'll say it every single time. I'm a
I have
hesitator.
tried many
Hey,
different
bye,
pairs
bye,
of
bye.
headphones. I think technology just doesn't like me.
All right, no worries. We're back. Sorry, I think Erica, you were mid a thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go. We're gonna need to stop first. We're gonna need to stop at the store later because I'm gonna cast a step 4 spell
Oh snap!
that I am entitling Gravity Hand, where a invisible hand inflicts gravity of some kind. This is a guile spell for charming living beings, and I can charge up to 20 beings, living or dead, for 1 hour. And what I'm going to do is it's like there's like a hand of gravity, either pressing or pulling them by their clothing or something down to where their movement is limited and stifled, and so we can at least get a handle on the situation by stopping their movement in case they're attacking us.
That is excellent. Yeah, the as you cast this, your eyes go white. You reach deep into your reservoirs of power. You're selling the store on this one. You reach into all of their minds, 1, 2, 3, then suddenly simultaneously. The psychological weight of what you are doing is as if a giant invisible hand is pressing down on all of them, and they are irresistibly scrunched to the ground all at the same time. The sound is terrific. It's like clanking metal, banging chainmail, weapons smashed to the ground, and one bare-chested guy going, "Oh!"
I can't show on my face how much I'm enjoying this because I have to focus so much, but I love the sound.
Every fiber
Gravity
of your
Hand.
being is focused on doing this and not having your the atoms of your mind sort of leak out of your ears. In 1,000 different directions at once. Let's see here. Facility, you are on the you're on you're in this chamber being held by a very large giant who is now just shaking you as you were knocked by this
giant.
Yeah. You're being shaken. You're being shook. As trying to sort of like bring your senses back to bear after being clonked on the head by this very heavy magical rope ladder. You're sort of coming to, and you're hearing this voice saying, "Can you just, for God's sake, you need to get back. Just be awake. Just awake. You're right. You're right. You don't have a contusion. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Everything's fine. You're good. Oh, thank goodness."
I'm basically invincible.
Oh, you're awake. Well, that's some comfort then.
Your hands are very large, and I'm in them.
Yes. Apologies. The giant, sort of like with two palms, puts you down on the ground. There is on the ground next to you, besides all of the smashed furniture, is another giant who is sort of rubbing their neck with one hand as they have been thrown into a giant size ottoman, which has smashed to bits all over the wall. They're starting to get back up. You hear the giant that had just put you back on the ground say like, "No, you stay there. We're not finished yet." And then turns back to Fasole and says, I'm not sure what you're doing on the ceiling or how you got here, but
I fell.
That would make logical sense. Yes, I assume that some sort of understanding can be reached. And then there's just an awkward pause
between my friends and the large group of men that came out the door while I was falling.
Oh, hold on. There are men up there. Do you have people up there? Are they in? Yes. 1 second.
Well, one of them doesn't have a shirt.
Oh. Okay. Yes. I will go. I will take care of this. Please be here. There is some lemon water over on that side of the room if you would like some. And then with
we can take a ladder up.
There's no need for that. And the giant touches his shoulder right here, and there is that same booming, rushing sound of air that you heard before. It is the sound of air rushing into a vacuum where instantly before there was a giant. And on the rooftop, suddenly there is a great boom of the same quality in reverse. As standing on the rooftop is this giant who has instantly teleported himself up to the top and stands now before, and he looks over at all the guards who are being crushed down by Bessemer's hand and says, it's all right. You performed your jobs admirably.
No, they sucked ass, actually. I don't know why you would say that. So
as you say that, the giant is looking at these guards and is trying to visibly suppress a smirk and quite failing at it. He says, "Yes, well, attendant matters aside, good. Everyone, please return to your stations. We'll have this matter sorted very shortly." And all the guards don't move because they are being flattened on these. Like
I don't think they can do shit right now.
I feel like I just said something. I don't quite know why you're not. And he gets like a look in his eyes. His two great big cat eyes. His eyes have the irises of cats and are yellow with flecks of red. This giant sort of blinks and looks over at the guards. He says, yes. Is there a way you are able to remove that spell from these individuals?
I think upon hearing the phrase "remove that spell from these individuals" and hearing it like in a calm tone, though I'm focused, I'm aware enough to be like, okay, all right. And so I use the considerable amount of energy that it takes to then rein the effect in and release the hand of gravity from all of these fucking 17,
Yeah,
18,
so
19 people.
the crushing psychological weight, which is bearing down on all of their motor systems, is now they feel it being, moved away. As he says, well, I suppose that answers the question of you are all then, I think, from the questing network, yes?
I think
Introduction.
you suddenly see from the back Beans pop up and is like, oh yes, no, of course, we were definitely not here stealing or thieving. We were in fact preventing that very thing. Now I remember. Sorry, Suit, you are going to add texture and color to my induction.
No, I'm just gonna keep walking to the peak. Actually,
yeah, you're like, I'm gonna see the top of the cigarette, and I'm gonna see the top of the cigarette. Yeah,
I think I'm bounding after her suit now.
Because I can hear him. Like he's loud, right? Like I can just hear.
Oh
him.
yeah, he's incredibly. His voice is his voice is extremely loud, but there's something weirdly calming about it. Like this is somebody who's either like had a lot of experience in leadership or is practicing for politics or something,
or like took so many HR mandated courses.
Yes, just all of them. Like maxed out all of those requisite hours. Like did bonus ones. Sort of. There's a little syrupy quality to it, and he says, well, he looks up at her suit, walking up. It's very hazardous. No, you seem to know the way. All right. Well, it is one of the wonders of the summer court, after all. Here in yes. You're still going. All right. Well,
I mean, I can hear you. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm paying attention. I'm just gonna look over the
people pay attention in different ways. That's all right, I suppose. And he turns to the guards who are all sort of sorry. He says, all of you go I don't know, back to your stations and hydrate or something, please. Thank you. And he turns to all of you and he says, I think we're in a bit of a situation here, so I don't know why you're here. I don't think that it's treasure stealing, because
don't listen to him. He was talking.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not that at all. That's a totally misunderstanding. It's false accusations.
That's understandable, of course. Although this is a government
civil requisition.
What?
It's called civil forfeiture. Sorry.
Civil asset forfeiture. Oh
yeah.
It's just cause. Ugh.
I think at this point Fasole has grabbed the ladder and is rocketed up out of the skylight by it. And he is holding and lands like barely on his feet, spilling a bunch of the paper cup of lemon water that he has.
Yeah, that is
Does anyone want any lemon water? I have about a third of a cup left.
Does anybody want a paper cup? Yeah. So the knight looks down and says, why don't we all retreat to my chamber? I have something I have to wrap up first. But that shouldn't take more than a few seconds, and we can all sit down.
Sure, that's great, but like her suit looks busy and Fasole hasn't even finished his lemon water. Also, hi, I'm Bessemer. Who are you?
Oh, hello. And he sort of rears up and looks at the sky, at the at the setting sun, which Fasole, this has answered your question finally. Looks back again and says, yes, my name is Yispedadin Penquar. It's
I will remember that.
You absolutely. Truly, there's no need to. It's perfectly fine if you don't. I am simply here to try and solve problems as best I may. He says, "Why don't if you'd all like to take a minute, if you'd like to watch the sunset, that's fine too. I will be inside my antechamber, and we can further discuss what has or has not happened." He's got a sort of he's a bit of a dazed look on his face. He's sort of trying to get a handle on the moment. But then in a booming rush of air, is gone from the rooftop. And you hear that same boom back in the room below you through the shattered skylight.
Okay, can we all say his name right now so we don't forget it? Yspedad and Penguar?
Yes.
Yeah, Yspedad and Penquar.
Yspedad and
Yspedad and
Yspedad.
Penquar?
No.
Guy.
I think I get as far as yes, and I'm just like yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, 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 and I'm just shaking
Yspedad
her
and
sit now.
Penquar.
I'm like her sit. I'm crawling through your bones, just like shaking and saying yes.
I don't think they're both. The gaps aren't that big, but okay.
You
Yeah,
don't know how
Hirsute,
big a skunky is.
Hirsute and DCI Beans, as you're walking up, well, it was definitely worth the view. The sunset going over the as it sets slightly to the west, which west is a very relative term on each island individually. As it sets beyond the great cantilevering mountains, behind you, you look out on a great vista, and you see the immense plain of this section of Summerside. To the north, you see, from where you're standing, the area of overleaf of its many hazardous and floating terrains attached to the ground by vines, great rope trees. You see many different castles on the horizon, some of which seem to be in a bizarre and blasted state, half in the air, half on the ground. Some seem to be quite stately and handsome and well covered in flags and banners. You see a lot of people going here to there, and here where you are right now, the court of summer, the summer house. The summer house being an area central to the west in Summerside, where the Hand of Summer lives. The Hand of Summer being one of the handful of defenders of the realm of Summerside. It is an absolutely gorgeous sight to behold as the sun starts to go down. As you continue to walk up to the north, you may Bob Hope chat with each other as Hirsute continues to walk. Do as you may. There is a bit of a kerfluffle down from below in the antechambers. It is probably the sound of bits of furniture being righted or swept or something of that sort. Bessemer and Fasoli, you are both still on the roof together. DCI Beans and Hirsute, you are both on the roof together, farther up, walking towards the sunset.
I want to reach the apex of the, or whatever you call it.
Ziggurat.
Yeah, I just want to see what's on top of the ziggurat.
We can't remember how to say ziggurat because we're all focused on Yspedad and Penquar.
Well, I was thinking of like Chichen Itza, and I was learning that it technically is not a ziggurat, even though it's the image that I see when it's a ziggurat, or at least when I.
That's
cool. I
cool.
can't type anymore, so it's hard to like.
Oh no, with your water keyboard.
Yeah. Google if you Google ziggurat versus step pyramid, I'm sure there will be archaeologists and historians and architects who can explain the differences. But it's pretty much step pyramid, and yeah, people use it sort of interchangeably now.
Step pyramid. It's not entirely a step pyramid. As you walk farther up towards the top, you will see that the entire eastern side of it is in fact not a step pyramid ziggurat at all. But what looks to be the vast ruins of a castle, what people on Earth would describe as a Western castle. This entire structure seems to be a hodgepodge of ruins, which have all been sort of put together in a half-hearted effort to repair it over many centuries.
Sorry. How's the cleave? Is it like cleaved? Like is
it is cleaved. It is cleaved, not quite through the middle, but like the little top promontory part that you're trying to get to, past that to the east, to the right of you. Beyond that side, on the other side, it's like become this ruinous castle.
Like, do I see ramparts and stuff like that?
You see ramparts. You see bartizans. You see parapets. You see towers. You see domes and.
Are they crenellated ramparts?
They crenellated ramparts? Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
The entire structure on that site is completely overrun with immense trees and vines. It's down the hill past it, as you see on the great sweeping plain of the summer house. There seems to be a large open park area, the remnants of like the royal sort of park courty kind of thing that you would see in front of like a big palace. There are people ambling about on it, going about their daily business. This is the summer house. It is an immense building that also, probably to your winter sensibilities, kind of looks like somebody was trying a bit too hard.
Yeah.
Excellent
Yeah,
information.
It's no Soho house.
It's no Soho. It's no Broken Angel house. It's no Soho house. It's it's certainly no bureaucracy of chalk. That's for sure.
It's a good first try.
It's a they'll get it right one of these days.
Everyone builds their first castle. Not everyone.
So, Fasoli and Bessemer, what do you decide to do? You have just been left by a teleporting giant who has moved back. You two are still unsure who this person are. I would say that DCI Beans in her suit, passively, having now seen the vistas and gotten your bearings, have figured out what's going on, in the sense that you know where you are. But beyond that, if you'd like to do any other rolls.
Yeah, okay. I know I'm just doubling down on this, but can I just roll reason to figure out what the fuck is going on vis-a-vis the memory loss? And also, do we
100%.
know, I guess there's two different things. They could be different roles, but do I know who Yispedad and Penguar is?
Yes.
Is that a
you
name?
Can, would you like to roll for both?
Sure.
We'll just have it be one.
You want me to roll them separately? I will roll one.
Yeah,
first, what the hell is going on to us?
What the hell is going on?
12. Natural 12.
Nice.
Ooh,
which
natural.
Which one would you like to decide that is?
Well, I said the first one would be what the hell is going on to us, and then the second
what
one.
the hell is going on to you two? Oh yeah. So it is, with you are in summer where magic is grand and fearsome and risky. It is patient and it is frightening and terrible. It is also on a massive scale. And you have deduced, knowing now where you are, here at this seat of, in quotes, power in this island, who values magic that goes bing bang boom. Something has happened. There's a magical effect that has happened. A magical effect that is happening all of you. It's not a curse. It is some kind of enchantment that is affecting magic at scale en masse.
It's a curse. We've been cursed?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we like in active danger? Like, is this something that will go away if we just leave this area? Or do we need to like do something?
You have deduced, based on the parameters of knowing that you have luck, because you already rolled successfully for this in the past, for 4 hours of memory is about the amount of time that it would have taken you with your current surroundings to get to the current area from the area of Overleaf. Which means that your memories have been erased the moment that you set into summer. So if they were to so every moment that you have been in summer up until the start of you like recalling that you forgot something has been wiped. The parameters of the curse are therefore deduced to be either this entire region or perhaps the entire island of Summerside.
Okay, fuck this shit. Okay, and I guess and it's not clear that someone did this to us. It's just like an ambient thing, I guess. The final question about that.
I would say that with that 12, you have deduced that it is an ambient thing. It is not somebody specific hasn't cursed you. It is just
a Margaritaville curse.
It's a Margaritaville situation. Okay.
It's Shadow Margaritaville all the way down.
Let me roll again quickly for, do I know anything about Yispedad? And maybe I'm talking with Hirsuit about it. Maybe it reflects, whatever. Like, maybe he has.
I have some broad.
I would say also,
I got a 4.
You got a 4. I'm going to give you a boost on this one. 4 is, I think, your personal knowledge about it. As a member of the department of, what is it, Perplexities? Are you part of? Is that your?
Yes, Derp.
Yes.
I'm my faction is now officially Derp.
Oh my god, we're both Derpers.
Yeah,
we're both Derpers.
Derp. Both of you, yeah. So, you've DCI Beans, you personally haven't the biographies of like so-called great people are not probably your purview. Like you don't know the man specifically, but you've definitely been briefed upon him. Yispedad and Penquar, you're like, oh, that name is so annoying and specific. Who is it? It's the Hand of Summer. The Hand of Summer is one of the defenders of the realm. He represents journey magic of the seasons at the summer level. He is the apex of summer magic. Is responsible for destroying uncanny horrors and terrors. Is a truly frighteningly powerful person. But from talk around the department, seems to not be a mass murderer, just seems to be a really dangerous guy who just goes out and like defeats things and does stuff for the common good. As to what like other things are going on in his life beyond defeating eldritch horrors on the regular, you're not super sure.
And he's
Okay.
25 feet tall, and he's an ex-journeyer.
Yes, he is
Great.
25 feet tall and an ex-journeyer.
But we can't call
Ex-journeyer
him
being the class that can teleport.
Yes, a
So we
teleporting
can't
giant, a teleporting
we can't-
giant with almost limitless grit.
we can't call him an exterior. That would be crass.
Oh, that's very good reasoning by Hirsute. Yes.
That is, I mean, is that like a? So that's not a. That's like a class in the game sense, not like a job in the vocation sense. Like the jobs would be some other thing.
Yeah,
wouldn't
he
call
himself,
someone
his
an
job,
exterior.
if he had a class, his class would be defined as Defender of the Realm. If he had a vocation, his vocation would be described as the Hand of Summer. But
only 4 people have that, or 1 person has that at any given time.
Yeah, so
there
there's
isn't
very
a
few
whole thing
people.
for
There's a handful of people who have this level of in quotes power. But on top of all that, he seems to be an ex-journeyer.
So, and
Mhm.
basically, sorry, so we don't remember any of us why we came. He's kind of like this wizard king of summer, and we
He's
don't know why we
essentially-
came
yeah, he's-
to see him.
He's not a king of anything, but he is yeah.
Extremely important, right?
He's
I mean, I
extremely
think
important
Fasole
and
would,
extremely powerful.
if I can say, I think Fasole would probably know who he is because Fasole is a fan of the Protectors. He
That's
dreams
right.
of
Yeah,
becoming
Yeah,
one.
they're like the
you have
knights of the realm.
now that you've like taken a moment to not fanboy out. Like, do you?
Oh my
do you
god,
rate
you're
him?
fanboying.
Have you read the zine about him? Have you read him in like Scare magazine? Like, do you?
Well, I guess I think he said his name, and I had never heard it out loud. I'd only ever read it, and I was like,
Right.
"Wait,
Yeah.
is that how you would say that?"
Yeah.
Wait,
You probably only
and
read it in
hold
Merc
on.
also. So translated in from yearly, you finally put it together. Yeah.
I think then we spent this time and you caught me up on all of the fan facts you have about Yzbadad and Penquar.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and okay, so that he's not technically he can't teleport because they're not allowed to say that, but everyone knows he can teleport.
Well, because we just saw it. That's so cool. Do you
No,
realize
legally
that?
we did not see it.
Fasola, do you realize that you saw him do that? Isn't that fucking crazy? I'm just like trying to hype you up, being excited to meet somebody that
Yeah,
you've
you've
been
You've
excited
seen
about.
teenagers teleport before. You saw a Union Breaker teleport. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
but
but maybe he
this
can
was
make it legal.
Yzbadad doing it.
yeah, this is the teleporter. Yeah,
It's got to be
Right.
legal when he does it.
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine when he does it. Yeah,
That's so sneaky and fun.
yeah. Yeah, it's the sun is going down. And Hirsute and DCA Beans, you have reached the top of the ziggurat far sooner than you thought. Looks like it was shallower. Yeah, so it is an absolutely beautiful night. And DCA Beans, do you share what you know with Hirsute?
Yeah, no, it's a conversation
you
the
say-
whole time.
you
So
have a
I mean, I
conversation
apparently
with
don't know
him,
much about this guy. So I talk
yeah.
about the curse a lot, but I'm looking at Hirsute for info on
Yeah.
Yzbadaden.
So Bessemer and Fasoli, do you go down into the in quotes antechamber, down the rope ladder that you've set back up again, to talk with this living legend?
When it's time, yeah, I assume that we do. But what I'm saying is, are we doing that now?
Oh yeah, are you giving him
or
enough time to,
are
like,
we doing that
yeah.
maybe next time?
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. So one more thing happens. So you're all sort of staying outside of the ziggurat. Okay.
Well, I was gonna go. He said to go meet him, right?
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, we'll go meet him eventually. If it's time to go meet him, we're going to meet him.
I'll
Okay.
just start walking over there
We
and see
do
what
have
window
to go
he's
meet
in.
him.
Yeah, there's another boom, and then so this giant is now instantly standing right where you all are sort of at this point congregated. It's now like early evening. The sun has mostly gone down, and he says, actually, this is, as long as you're up here on the roof, it will save me some time for explanation. He said, I don't know if it's why you're here. Perhaps it is, perhaps it's not, but it is certainly convenient that you're here. You'll see what I mean in a second. Presumably all of you have lost your memory in some capacity recently. How much Do you remember how much or how little memory that you have? I know that that's a bit of a leading question.
I remember the last hour.
It seems like we've gathered that we've lost an amount since we've arrived here. Can I
Have you seen my car?
Based on you asking me that question and your confused face earlier, Sir Yisbadaden, are you experiencing the same thing?
He says, and it's very obvious to you, an alienist who reads people even if their face is stony, that yep, he has forgotten several hours as well.
Okay.
Yeah. He then turns to Hirsute. He says, a car. Was that car a pink color?
Yeah, right. Well, something like that.
Well, you've just solved an argument with a friend of mine. Yes. Okay. You cannot have the car.
Well, you gotta ask her. It's
her.
up to her what the color is.
It's all right. Excellent. Well, he shouts down. He says, Bobbins, I told you can't have the car. I was right. He says, all right, well, this introductions are shortly in order. I will learn all of your names and memorize them. But I must say this is actually a perfect opportune time to see what the problem is. And as he's saying, the sun sets. The sun has already set. It's evening. The sky's looking beautiful, and in these last couple of minutes, suddenly in the sky, the stars are twinkling and they're moving. They're twinkling and they're moving. The moon is moving. It's quite gorgeous at this time of night. It's a full moon tonight, and the stars are starting to move faster, and they're moving faster, and they're moving faster and faster, almost like the world is spinning very quickly. And in very, very short order, the dizzying stars are moving so fast that they are a spiral of light, of discs that roll around. The moon descends over the horizon, and the sun comes back up again. He says,
"Excuse me, Mr. Penguin, are you doing that?"
I assure you, this is beyond my abilities.
How long does it take for the sun to come back up?
He says, "Wait for it." And the sun gets back up, and it is morning. It is now 6 a.m. The next day, as you're all watching the sunrise, the sun starts to roll forward. As it rolls forward, the sun has an eye. The sun, in fact, is an eye. The sun is a giant eye. The sun is a giant eye with a huge green pupil, or which is this, iris or pupil? Anyway, it's a huge white eye with the green party around the pupil, green irises. It looks not like a human eye, not like a demon eye. It looks like a fake eye, like a bizarre fake foam prop eye, except millions and millions and millions of miles wide. And it looks down with its almost claymation-y look. The eye blinks, and as it blinks, all of you, everything goes black, and it doesn't blink again. As the eye opens, you have absolutely no memory of the eye blinking at all.
What's the last thing we do remember?
The thing you do remember is seeing a giant, immense green eye in the sky.
I really hope that eye doesn't blink.
Yeah, does it blink?
Penquar said, he says, he looks around. He's like, "Oh, I thought we had a thing up here." He goes, he closes his eyes, and you see there's like a bit of like a green kind of almost not quite flame, but like a bit of a green sort of light come off of like one hand. And then he looks and he says, "Excuse me, sir," and he turns to the Hirsute. He says, "Sirrah, did you see a metal cube anywhere around here? Do you have it?"
You're muted.
Yes and no.
Well, can you see if it's green? Can you see if it's green?
Hey, Bessemer, is it green?
Ethan, is it green?
Yeah, it's green.
Yeah, it's green. Hirsute.
Hirsute's like glowing green. Is that the?
It's glowing. Oh yeah, glowing. Of course. What am I? Of course, it's glowing green.
It's pea green. It's pea green. It's not PEA like P like pretty, but like also PEA. It's pea green.
Wait, do you mean PEE green? Because it's not supposed to be that color. I don't know
no,
a lot
PEA,
about this, but it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
PEA, not PEE. I promise.
Yeah, he says, oh, if it's green,
IP red.
it blinked, which means we just lost 5 seconds of our lives. Well, do you want to help fix the sun? And that's our episode.
Nice. Do you want to help fix the sun?
A job's a job.
Nice. Job's a job. Yeah, that's definitely.
job.
There's just a skunk pissing is one of the sounds you hear at the end of
Pissing in the
people
wind.
screaming and saying
Black
like
and
awesome
white.
action movie catchphrases.
Skunks piss black and white,
My
right?
leg.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And when they do, they have like cartoon deflated bodies become much smaller because they feel
Oh my god!
a huge amount of relief.
Is your suit black and white because he's a skunk, or is it because he's noir?
Oh, you mean
Is her suit a skunk?
I mean, is
Or we
DCI
both?
being- is DCI
But no,
being-
that'd be really
Yeah.
funny if the whole time her suit was like a man-sized skunk skeleton, and we just
That'd
like
be
didn't
amazing.
like it was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like totally
Is
normal.
DCI
Yeah.
beans black and white? The joke is over, and I killed it myself.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, this has been all right. So the new magic system is in effect, seems to be working, and we have a great plot. Thanks, Ethan. And I
Yeah.
have no idea what's happening. It's terrifying, and I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So tune
Thanks so
in.
much for joining us on this, the Sometime Stream Summer. Thank you to our wonderful players, and we will see you all soon.
See y'all. Bye.
Sorry that the sun's
Bye.
not going to work between now and our next stream.
Okay, I'm gonna